Welcome to the Blind Android Users channel. This is your source for everything Android, tutorials and demos, all from a blindness perspective. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more content like this. And now we come to my most important part of the podcast, and I'm talking about a segment that we haven't heard in quite a while, and it's the My Android Journey story. And our friend Mike B from New York is bringing us his Android Journey story. Mike, we want to welcome you to the Blind Android Users podcast, and thank you so much for taking your time out to come and talk to us about my very favorite segment of the podcast, and that is the My Android Journey story. Mike, you've got the mic.
Okay, Mike, so what was your first Android phone that you ever had?
Actually, I don't know what the name of it was. I just know it was very small. In fact, I actually still have it. And according to the company that I get my service from, they don't make that kind anymore. It was the push button. These very, if you've ever had like the cell phones, like from the 90s, where some of them would have these tiny little buttons.
Oh my God, it was a T9 phone?
Well,
I love those.
I don't know. It just had like, you had like the display on top, and then underneath you have the big menu button in the middle, which was probably the biggest button in the whole set. And then on either side, there were two other buttons, which I have no idea what those did. And then underneath those were the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc.
Okay, so how long ago was that? Do you remember what version of Android that was and how many years ago it was?
It was 2010 when I first started messing with Android.
Oh, okay.
And yeah. And
so do you think it's improved? What phone did you go on to then? Because did that have a touch screen, your first one?
No. Nope.
So did you then go on to a touch screen straight away, or did you have more button phones?
I actually had to go on to a touch screen because the push button one I have was malfunctioning, and for one thing, it didn't even speak, but I was able to use it. But it sort of got where it was acting a little strange. And when I called the company, that's when I found out they don't make those anymore. And so they gave me a Samsung Galaxy J3 Achieved, which I still have. And I had that from 2019 to the present. Last year, towards the end of 2021, I had to upgrade because, as you know, here in the US and probably in the UK and other places, they were taking everyone off of the Sprint network and putting them on the T-Mobile.
No, we don't have that here.
Oh,
we don't have Sprint.
No.
That's an American thing.
Yeah. They wanted to switch everyone to the T-Mobile to get 5G speed, to speed up everybody. And so as a result of that, I had to upgrade to my Samsung Galaxy S10, which is now what I currently use. And it's a touch screen as well.
And how is that? How are you getting on with that?
I'm getting along. I'm finding the touch screen on this one somewhat easier than the other one because I'm used to typing on a physical keyboard. And, you know, when you go to a situation where you have to use touch screen, it can be very frustrating, even if you have the screen reader, because you're so used to expecting to feel buttons. So with the other phone I have, the J3 Achieved, when you're swiping in the keyboard, the thing is, if you even touch a letter or swipe a letter or other character, it goes through to the program. which is not necessarily what you might want it. You might not want it doing that, but that's what it did. And then you'd have to find the backspace and start all over. But with the S10 one that I have, you have to kind of scroll around up, down, left, and right with your that finger next to the thumb. I think that's our pointer. And then you find the character that you want. And once you find that, you double tap it. Then from that point on, you can swipe left and right to find the character you want, the letter or the number. And once you find it, you double tap it and then it goes through. So you basically have to very slowly type the phone number or the word or whatever it is you're doing, and then just keep swiping until you get to either a next button or a close button or whatever it offers you.
Have you tried using voice dictation?
I do that too. That's how I send my texts. And when I added my contacts to this phone, I thought I'd have to go through and announce all of them, but I actually didn't have to. I used a program called Smart Switch.
Oh yeah, I used that one too. Yeah.
I think someone on our mailing list, I think it was someone on the mailing list that mentioned to me. Yes, I think it was Warren actually. He mentioned Smart Switch. It was either you or Ed. I don't remember, but someone mentioned about Smart Switch, and I had to install Smart Switch on the old phone. This new one had it already. And I basically just followed some simple instructions, going back and forth from phone to phone, tapping buttons where I needed to, and it transferred my contacts for me. So now, if I wanted to text Austin, for example, if I had his number, I would just tell Lady G. I'm trying to paraphrase so I don't wake her up. I'd say, text Austin or call Austin, and then it would just go through and dial his number automatically, which is, I find it very easy to do because I don't have to fumble with trying to find the right numbers and such. Because if you have to call someone immediately, like if you're in an emergency, you're not going to be thinking about where's this button, where's that button. You're just going to want to call the person immediately. And if you're in a hurry, you might make the mistake and hit the wrong button. So it's always good to have the voice dictation.
Were there any issues you had? Were there things that you remember as being part of the struggle? Were there things that you really struggled with? Or if you were to advise someone who is jumping into Android today, what would your advice be to such a person?
Well, for one thing, I'd recommend joining the Blind Android Users mailing list. You guys can join the list. You can get information about it on blindandroidusers.com. And there's other information there as well. And anyone that you know who has an Android device, and that's what helped me as well. I have a friend who had a phone that was similar to mine, and she was able to assist me in getting Google Assistant set up. And I recorded a demo that explains in detail about that, and you guys hopefully will get to download that soon. Like I said before, the toughest thing you'll probably find about using Android is the touchscreen, because you can't always take a Bluetooth keyboard everywhere you go, and so that's the main real struggle you'll have.
So, well, that's great, Mike. Thank you so much about that and telling us about that Android journey story. And most especially talking about the fact that, if one is starting with Android and needing some help, of course, they could always get hold of us or, our website, and that will give them all that info. And at that, how about now we bring this to a close? And Austin, how do people get hold of our knuckleheads?
For people to locate us, they can email us with their questions or feedback or comments or recording submissions to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. They can browse our website, blindandroidusers.com. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/blindandroidusers. Subscribe to our mailing list, Blind Android Users, plus subscribe at groups.io. The links for Telegram and Twitter, Clubhouse will be in the show notes with all the other links. So that is it from us this week.
Thanks, Austin, and that concludes today's episode 63. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
And that has been another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. As always, we appreciate hearing from you. You send those email messages to contact us at blindandroidusers.com. For those My Android Journey stories, we encourage you to send those to myandroidjourney@blindandroidusers.com. Until we see you in our next episode, you have a wonderful day. Thanks for listening to another clip from the Blind Android Users channel. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you're notified of every new material that we upload. Thanks again for listening to the Blind Android Users channel.